In this tutorial in DaVinci Resolve, we're going to look at how to get started with video transitions. I have on the screen two different clips, and as I move from one to the other, it's a sit-down scene and then right to a stand-up scene. If I want to add a transition between these two clips, how do I do that? Transitions are found in the Effects library, so I need to move to the upper left, click on the Effects library option. I'm going to be in the Toolbox subsection and click on Video Transitions. Now you notice all the transitions that I have, there's one with a little red mark on it. If I right click on it, there's one that says Set as Standard Transition. And the cross dissolve is my standard. I can right click on any other one and that will set that as the standard to be applied automatically. We'll leave it at the default for now. Now the question is, how do I add a transition? Or how do I preview one even? Here's one called the iris transition. I don't know how it's going to work. I can find out without applying it to the timeline first. But in order for that to happen, I need to click to the upper right corner on my Effects Library panel. There are three dots. When you click on those, there's a Hover Scrub Preview. That needs to be checked. I'll click it to check it, go back to Verify, and now when I'm on top of any of these transitions, watch. As I move the cursor with the mouse, my scrubber, I get to see the impact of that particular transition on the two nearest clips. And if one of the clips is all by itself, you might have black for the other one that it transitions into or out of, but the same principle applies. I can preview them right in this context. That's a nice feature. Now you would think the way in which you can make a transition work is to click on it, it turns red, drag and drop it on the track right between the two clips. And I go to play this with my new transition and nothing happens. Why? Because transitions in DaVinci Resolve need a place to stay. They need a marker inside the timeline that they can sit in. And right now I don't have that. How do I do that? There are several ways. The shortcut key to apply a transition is to use Control and press the T key. And I always encourage keyboard commands whenever possible. They're faster in the long run. So I'll do Control T. Now you notice it added a little white box at the beginning and ending of this clip. So it's trying to add a single transition within a clip, not between clips. But watch what happens when we play this. It transitions to black. It doesn't transition directly to the other clip, and I still have this abrupt move from one to the other. Why? Because the clips need to overlap, or all I can do is get this kind of transition only dealing with black. There is no common area for them to use. Let's try that with a different transition. I'll drag and drop. Now I have room, and I do have a hexagon, but notice it's a black hexagon. It isn't the kind of transition I was expecting. I'll undo this using Control Z. So if I want it to be a transition from one clip into another, not to a black, how do I fix that? Well, there are several ways in which I can do that. If I press the V key, it will move my cursor there. And then I'll right click, and now it says I can add a 6-frame cross dissolve, or a 14-frame cross dissolve, or 30 or 60. Let's try that. Let's do a 30, only moved it on one side because I still have no overlapping area. I'll do Control Z to undo. To get an area that's common to both clips, I'll press the V key to get to the junction between the two. Now I'll do Control T, and now I get the Add Transitions box. I'm going to ignore the message because I want it to trim the clips. This is the quickest way to add some overlapping area between clip 1 and clip 2. Now, when I have my cross dissolve, you notice it doesn't go to black, it goes from one clip to the other. There are several ways in which you can increase or decrease the transition duration. If you want to change the overall default, let me show you how to do that. Hold the Control key down and hit the comma key. That will pop up your System Media Storage Editing menu. I'm going to go to the User tab. I want to be on the editing option on the left side, and then I can set the standard duration. The default is 1 second. I can make it any number I like and click on Save. But what if I just want to change the duration of this transition? How do I do it? I can hold the mouse over the edge. It looks like I can drag it. I can't make it bigger because the transition box is only this 1 second long. I can make it smaller, but I can't make it bigger. So what do? I can hold down the Alt key and the Shift key after I click on the right clip, and then I can drag the right clip to the left. That will increase the area of overlap. And now I can take the transition and I can drag it up to the length of the overlap between the two clips. I can also change the duration of this transition by pressing the Control-D key combination, and now I can set it to anything, again, up to the level of the overlap between the two clips. So that's how you can adjust it. You can put the numbers in there and be very specific. I'll cancel out of that. So now I have the overlap point and I have the transition. If I want to change the transition, all I need to do is drag another transition on top of it. And then when I play this now, I will have a push transition. I can change it as often as I want. Let's try a slide transition. And all of these are customizable. We're not going to go into that in this particular tutorial, but these are the default behaviors that come in DaVinci Resolve. So the key things to remember when you want to transition between two clips is you have to make some space between them. And we showed you 2 ways to do that, and then you occupy that space with your transition, which you can change as often as you want to achieve the kind of effect that you think is important in that particular segment. There's lots more to learn about transitions, and we'll have more tutorials coming up in the future.